Hey folks, this is Kalani. It's been quite a while since the World of Warcraft was given a large, meaningful content update, so understandably I know a lot of players have decided to take a break. Maybe they decided to check out a different game in a different world, or maybe they just took a break from the PC for a while, but with patch 9.1 right around the corner, it is important to ask, is this the time to resub? Is patch 9.1 the time to relight the torch? Is patch 9.1 worth coming back for? Well, let's have a look at what this patch offers for different types of players and we'll try to answer that question. Let's start by talking about the casual players. I know they often get overlooked even though they make up a good chunk of the overall player base. Believe me, I know not everyone wants to raid or run dungeons all day or spend forever in battlegrounds. My mother-in-law actually plays WoW and she does very little of that group-focused gameplay. So what does patch 9.1 have to offer for the casual players this time around? Obviously, the big thing is the new Corthia Zone. We have new factions to earn reputation with, an entire story arc to learn what the purpose of Corthia is and why the jailer pulled it into the Maw, and there's a strong focus on outdoor gameplay in this zone. There's lots of rares to kill with various rewards, lots of treasures to hunt for, there's even a little minigame kind of thing where you run around with a critter who can sniff out hidden treasures and relics that you wouldn't be able to find without that cute critter, which takes treasure hunting to a different level. We're going to have a new world boss to take down, lots of daily quests to complete, and weekly and bi-weekly events to take part in. The Corthia Zone might look small, but honestly it's got a lot to do and a lot of the content is repeatable with a purpose. One of the big draws for casual players in the Corthia Zone is going to be an entirely new gearing up path. I know we've seen outdoor world content gearing before, world quests, story quests, the odd world boss here and there, but that content either doesn't reward very high item level gear or it doesn't offer a way to earn a full set of gear. It's typically one or the other, but in Corthia there's a new type of gear. Corthian armaments can be upgraded all the way to item level 233, which is equivalent to the highest item level gear you can get out of the normal raid, and almost up to heroic raid quality. Heroic is item level 239, so it's only 6 item levels lower than heroic raid loot, which means you can gear up significantly with this new gearing path. Corthian armaments can drop from rares, you can loot them from treasures, you can earn them from daily quests, and they also come out of the various weekly or bi-weekly chests or caches for completing major events. So this gear is actually pretty easy to get your hands on, and if all else fails you can actually buy Corthian gear tokens from the new rep vendor for 1k Stygia a piece. This also makes it very easy to send this gear over to your alts to kickstart their gearing adventures, but the real key here is upgrading this armor. One of the new reps, the Archivist's Codex, is all about collecting relics. You turn these relics in to earn reputation and a new currency, Catalogued Research. This is the currency used to upgrade Corthian armaments, and you can upgrade them all the way to item level 233. With this gear pathway only requiring you to take part in the Corthia outdoor content, that means you can get up to item level 233 all by yourself without stepping foot in a dungeon or raid, and you can do it at your own pace. So you'll have more gearing options as a solo or casual player in 9.1 on top of all of the new content. There's also going to be a whole new series of chapters to continue the expansion's main storyline going forward. The chapters are locked behind renown levels once again, but they shouldn't be too hard to acquire if you're working through the Corthia Zone's content. We'll discover what the jailer is really after, figure out a way to hopefully stop him, and pull all of the Covenants closer to stand together against the powers of the Maw. The story so far in Shadowlands has actually been pretty good in my opinion, so I'm excited to see where they take things and how everything evolves. I'm not sure how the raid is going to end, but I think this specific story chapter is going to be huge for the big picture overall. With all of the changes in 9.1 to the Maw and with the introduction of Corthia, the Maw Zone will also be much easier to navigate and get around. There's a flight path to get from Venari's Refuge to Corthia quickly and easily. You can mount up in the Maw without any special mounts. The Eye of the Jailer debuff gets removed entirely, so you don't have to worry about getting dragged off into the sky, and the Covenant forces will be down here to lend a helping hand. That creates safe zones in the Maw where you don't have to worry about those mean, nasty Maw spawn, and all in all, the Maw is really just going to be a more friendly zone with a lot more to do. So if you've been struggling in the Maw Zone, or you've been struggling to care about the Maw Zone, it should get a lot better in patch 9.1. Patch 9.1 also reintroduces flying, and you don't really have to do that much to unlock it this time around. As long as you complete the first few chapters of the new 9.1 story, which I assume you will be if you're looking for solo content or casual content, then flying will be unlocked more or less for free. There's no rep grind, no huge time gate, it's a walk in the park. Flying will make every other world activity easier and faster, as long as it's not in the Moor or Corthia, so it's a great addition to the game for everyone out there who loves outdoor world content. And then there's also Torghast. I know Torghast is a bit of a weird subject because a lot of players really don't like the Tower of the Damned, but I know there's actually a lot of players who do enjoy it. They just might not be quite as vocal as the ones who don't. Torghast is getting all kinds of changes. The typical torments that we've been accustomed to so far in Shadowlands have been removed, so you no longer have to worry about that pesky Soul Forges debuff, and the only large difference between the different wings of Torghast now are the monster spawns and the layouts. Torghast will also use a score system to show you just how well you've done in each run, and you can earn different rewards for higher scores, like unlocking more difficult layers, gaining access to a special bonus floor, earning mounts, and of course earning achievements. I've seen a few people comment that this turns Torghast into another speed clear bore fest, and that's not true at all. In fact, going quickly isn't even the best way to earn a higher score in Torghast. You get score from clearing monsters, smashing urns, killing rares, looting chests. The more you do in a run, the more score you will earn, even if you take forever to clear your run. Speed is not the main objective, and the entire system has actually been made more open and more flexible as to how a player can approach Torghast, which makes it more casual player friendly for sure. With new layers to climb, a new talent tree to progress through to empower your character further, better rewards and a new currency to grind for, Torghast is another big chunk of content that anyone can take part in. Now, if you're someone who loves small group PvE content, you might not care too much about the outdoorsy stuff, but patch 9.1 will still have something for you to get excited about. One of the more exciting new additions in 9.1 is the new mega dungeon, Tazavesh the Veiled Market. Tazavesh will have 8 bosses total, so it's going to take you quite a while to get through, and it might even take more than one sitting if you have a dedicated group. Each boss is more difficult and more involved when compared to your typical dungeon boss. It really is like a mini raid for a small group to clear through. There's also going to be a hard mode for every single boss in this new mega dungeon, with extra special rewards like higher item level gear and mounts to look forward to, so if the typical Tazavesh experience isn't challenging enough, you can increase the difficulty a few notches. I've had a blast testing the new mega dungeon, and I think it's one of the best dungeons that has been added to the game, so I'm sure anyone who loves small group content will have a great time. And then there are a lot of changes to the Mythic Plus system, which should help to mix things up in Season 2 of Shadowlands. The new affix, Tormented, gives you the opportunity to collect anima powers to skyrocket your overall potential, which should help you push keys further than ever before and make dungeons a bit more interesting. Several of the more annoying affixes, like Storming, have been nerfed significantly so they won't completely kill a week of dungeon running, and with a lot of class changes, new gearing options, and new legendary powers to collect, that could all change up how you approach Mythic Plus dungeons as well. But what about the raiders? Is this patch going to have enough to keep a raider interested? I think it will, partly because there's going to be a good chunk of content to keep you busy outside of raid, which I know is sometimes a big problem for a lot of players, but the raid itself looks amazing. We have 10 bosses to chomp through, most of which look like they're going to put up quite a fight, and there's a good variety of encounters as well. The last 2 bosses look especially cool, and we all know taking the fight to the Banshee Queen is not going to be easy, but there are some very shiny rewards on offer, so it's going to be worth the effort. Personally, I think the Sanctum of Domination is going to be a better raid than Castle Nathria, which is saying a lot. I really loved Castle Nathria, especially early on in the tier, so I can't wait to get stuck in for another round of raiding. In addition to the raid itself looking awesome, raiders get a special type of gear to collect, Domination gear. This stuff only drops in the raid, and it has special sockets for you to slot in Shards of Domination. Shards of Domination also only drop from the raid, and they can be upgraded with a currency that also only drops from the raid. If this didn't make you feel special as a raider, I don't know what will. Shards of Domination provide various passive effects and bonuses, and you can even unlock a set bonus if you equip the right shards. An extra layer of character progression that is only available to raiders should make this patch stand out for everyone who wants to delve into the Sanctum of Domination. And I know what you're thinking, that's great for all the PvE players, Kalani, but what about all of us PvP players? Don't you worry, I didn't forget about you this time, and neither did the dev team. The way gear is handled in PvP is going to change, so PvP gear will always be more powerful in PvP content. Right now the plan is for PvP gear to increase by 13 item levels when you're engaged in PvP content, so you will always have an edge against those pesky raiders and their PvE gear. There's also a bunch of new, interesting, fun, and powerful PvP talents being added into the game with patch 9.1. Some of them seem kinda crazy, and they can really change up how you approach certain situations. I'm sure they're going to be a nightmare to balance, but that's not always the most important thing, especially if you can have lots of fun mass teleporting the opposing team off the side of a cliff. All in all, I really do think that patch 9.1 will have something for everyone, which is kind of a surprise to me, honestly. Usually at least one aspect of the game is left out with these major patches, but the dev team has made sure every type of player has at least something to look forward to. So if you're still on the fence about returning to WoW for patch 9.1, I think it's going to be worth it. Hopefully the next patch won't take anywhere near as long, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. A month or two back in Azeroth should be lots of fun when patch 9.1 arrives on June 29th. But that's all my thoughts on the matter, and that's it for this video. Will you be coming back to the game to experience the downfall of Sylvanas? Have you been spending your time in another game recently, and if so, which one? Is patch 9.1 enough to drag you back to Azeroth? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon, and to everyone who subscribed on Twitch. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I'll see you next time.